Miss Younger, Miss Brenda, and today in 6th grade math we're going to be covering how to solve two-step equations. As we solve these problems, remember that you need to solve these problems are things you already know, and so that's multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And so just to review what we covered when we're solving one-step equations, when we did that, we talked about the inverse relationship between multiplication and division, and the inverse relationship between addition and subtraction. So as a reminder, what do I mean when I say that multiplication and division have an inverse relationship? Well, multiplication is the reverse of division, and division is the reverse of multiplication. And so, for example, if we have 6 divided by 3, we get 2. If we start off with that 2 and want to return to 6, what do we need to do? Multiply by 3. With addition and subtraction, if I start with 6 again and I add 3, I get 9. If I start with 9 and I want to return to 6, what do I need to do to reverse that? I need to do subtraction. So 9 minus 3 equals 6. And so this inverse relationship is what allows us to solve one-step and now two-step equations. So here I have an example problem. We have 3 times x plus 4 equals 15. And so like with one-step equations, we're trying to isolate this variable, as we discussed then, the variable, it can be x, it can be y, it can be l, it can be anything. We're not really concerned with what is standing in for the variable. We're concerned with what the variable stands for and its relation to the other things. So for now, let's just focus on this problem. Okay, so in order to isolate this variable, the first step we can do is subtract 4. When we do that on this side, whatever we do on this side of the equal sign, we have to do it on the other. So when we subtract 4 from 3x plus 4, we remain with 3x on this side, and when we subtract 4 from 15, we remain with 11. So now we're at this point, and so the next step, the second step, this is 2 steps, we start off with 3x equals 11, and so we have 3 times x. What do we need to do to undo that multiplication? We need to divide by 3, and that will leave us with 1, and then 11 divided by 3 gives us 11/3. And so we're left with the variable is isolated, and we have x equals 11/3.
But, Miss Brenda, I have a question. What if there's a fraction attached to the x?
Here we have x minus 2 equals 2. X divided by 3 minus 2 equals 2. And so the first step, we'll add 2, and so we have minus 2. Look at that as a negative 2, and negative 2 plus 2, that gives us 0 on this side. We add 2 to the other side, we're left with a 4. And now we have x divided by 3 equals 4. The next step, here we have x divided by 3. How do we undo division? We multiply. And when we multiply, the denominator and numerator cross out, and here when we multiply by 3, we get 12. So now we're left with x equals 12. Okay, class, I've come up with a little chant to help us remember what we've covered today, and it goes a little like this. When I have to solve for x, what do? I want to step. Add, subtract, multiply, divide, get the x to one side. Let's say it together.
Okay.
When I have to solve for x, what do? I want to step. Add, subtract, multiply, divide, get the x to one side.